All right, the man, the Neuqua Valley legend, Coach Moriarty, the tight ends coach at Texas A&M University of Commerce. The Sutton sent me a message on Instagram. They're like, "Oh, Neuqua guy," because I put the picture up, and they're like, "Neuqua guy."
Oh man, long times ago. So, but no, I appreciate us doing this again. Actually, now it's East Texas A&M University, so not Texas A&M Commerce. So again, same place, just different name now. So obviously, when we get some more gear to kind of match it, but for right now, still we're Texas A&M Commerce stuff just to represent.
So, why'd they change the name? How? What? Like?
Again, it's above my pay grade on that one. But from what people have said, that they wanted the name changed. So again, this is the third name. They went from East Texas State to Texas A&M Commerce, and then the higher ups and alumni decided that they wanted to go 3 times the charm, and now that's East Texas A&M University Commerce. So again, I'm at that point where again, it's above my pay grade. So whatever they want to call it, that's how they roll with it.
Well, I put the wrong name on the title.
You're all right. It's all good. Still the same thing. So
I'm pretty lazy. I'm like, oh, where's he coach? Oh, yeah, it's here. I copy and paste it. I'm like, here we go. This is good.
It's all good.
So you were saying you guys are into spring ball.
Yeah.
How's that? Year one's done. Spring ball's here. How'd year one go? Spring ball.
Yeah. So spring ball's here. Going into year 2 here at East Texas A&M. Again, a lot of good things are happening here. A lot of still the same faces. Again, in today's world of college football, obviously with the transfer portal and people leaving and basically everyone getting a new roster. Knock on wood. Luckily for me, that didn't happen. I didn't lose anybody. Again, we didn't lose anybody that honestly that didn't contribute. Again, we have guys coming back. We entered the portal to get some really good offensive linemen. We do have that. Obviously, going into year 2, it's a little different now with picking up the pace of things. But on a personal level, for me, I'm gonna be a father in June, like we've talked about. So again, my wife Lindsay and I are expecting our firstborn in June. His name's gonna be Malachi. He's gonna go by Kai. So that fires me up right there. Not just being a football coach and motivating the players I have, but obviously now that I'm going to be a father myself, coming home and motivating my own. So, again, very excited about this year with a lot of things happening. It seems like only last year, I was telling you about this, that, I was engaged, getting married, now, having a son and having a family and going into year 2 of this. And now we are actually done with the transition process from D2 to FCS, so it is going to count this year. So a lot of things are happening at a fast pace, but we're really excited and we're hitting the ground running.
Yeah, I forgot you guys were moving up. I'm glad you reminded me you guys were moving up. So, like, we're going to jump all over the place. Like you saw, St. Francis in Pennsylvania, they're going from Division I down to Division III because of money.
Yes.
But you guys are moving up. So when you move up, you obviously get more scholarships, but now it kind of becomes more transfer portal-esque. Like, lucky for you in your position, nothing else, but that kind of opens the door up a little bit for more transfers, I would think, when you move up.
Yeah, and again, for us, we went through the transition. We started in 2022. Again, when it was Texas A&M Commerce, we were a very good Division II program, won the national championship in 2017, and then made the transition to FCS now in the Southland Conference. Again, we went through our process, and now, as they like to say, the door's open for it all. And for us, obviously coaching is really important. Like, you have to coach your players, you got to develop your players. But for us in particular, it was finding those guys that we didn't really have time to develop. Like, for example, offensive line wise, we lost a lot of offensive linemen. We had to replace them. We replaced some really good ones. Again, we were able to get 2 transfers from the same school in the same conference from Houston Christian. We got a transfer from a junior college in California. Luckily, they were able to come early so they could get transitioned in the spring ball, and they were doing really well. They were doing exceptionally well. And besides that, we got the guys that started last year coming back. Our quarterbacks coming back. Our running backs coming back. We have our receivers coming back. Tight end wise, the one that led the conference in receptions and yards per catch, I have him coming back. We have a really good redshirt sophomore in the name of Preston Kilgore. It's going to help out a lot. Again, my room is really loaded. I got 4 guys, and all 4 of them can play here with Preston Kilgore, who I just mentioned, Sean Solis, who was the leader of everything coming back, and then we have Dylan Domel, who was a transfer from Prairie View last year, coming off a hand injury, and then also we had a transfer come in from Saddleback Community College, and Josh Peichel, originally from Salem, Oregon. So a lot of pieces to the puzzle still here, but a lot of still new things to happen. Because again, 2024 is done. Like, that was a year that was done. We went 3-9. We did some things that were better than years prior, but this is the year where we're looking to do some things because we got the pieces that are here. So, we're excited. We've been hitting the ground running.
So now that you moved up, does it affect your high school recruiting? Because this is a deep rabbit hole, because you hear, well, like, for example, not for football, but at our high school, we have a basketball player. He scored almost 2,600 points in his career, has the high school Ashland Trail points, assists, rebounds, and he's a guard. But he's 6 foot, so that's been the problem of recruiting. So there's some, even like Division twos, we reach out to, and they said, when does he want to sign? And we're like, soon. And they're like, he's going to be a freshman. Yeah. Talk to us in August, because we're in the portal. Like, it's affected high school so much in that realm. Does it affect you guys right now, or is this just, ESPN just focusing on the wrong thing?
And again, it does affect us, because the fact that when you look at, the livelihood and how we go about things, obviously the portal is important. There isn't a lot of time to really develop. We still want the high school kids, though. I know I have a walk-on coming from one of the Texas high schools in Dallas. We live in the state of high school football, where is God. Again, and people may have their opinions on things, but Texas high school football is top-notch. So we still want to keep the pipeline hot with high school kids. But when it comes to positions of need, where you need guys that are experienced now, offensive line, running back, D-line, cornerback, those are things that we need to hit the portal on. And we did hit the portal on, but we also recruit our high school kids. So, again, Ohio State, Ryan Day, shout out to Ohio State, who won the national championship. He says it best, that they still high school recruit, but they still have to get the transfers of position need now. For us, for example, like I just said, offense line, defense line, cornerback, those are needs now that we need. And we went and we got them. But again, we still recruit high school kids, and we still want to keep the pipeline hot. So I think when it comes to recruiting, if you're somebody that's just pure portal, if that's what you do to be successful, that's great. But it's all about retention and developing, again. And we're firm believers in that, and we do that here. I know other programs do that as well.
Which I'm glad to hear, because that's old school. But again, like March Madness, people were like, look at these teams, all they do is go to the portal and they want to win now, which is true. But I think that I would like to believe a majority do it the way like you just described, and say, yeah, we have to plug in for the portal, obviously, but we still want to build up a freshman, build up a redshirt freshman, build up a sophomore. I just think that your big time Division Ones are doing that because they have to keep up, right? Like, they have an image that's coaching for their life every single year. Like, Ryan Day has coached for his life every single year, because if he lose 3 games, they lose to Michigan, they're about to fire him, and then he wins the national championship. Like, he has to coach for his life. So I just know some schools are like, yeah, we used to take 30 freshmen or so, now we only take 15 because of we don't need to. We have the portal, we have junior college, we have this. We don't need to build up a freshman. But I also think it opens up the door for FCS level, because you can plug those high school kids. Like, oh, if this high school kid 5 years ago would have went to Alabama or U of I, whatever, and they don't, we can pluck them and be like, hey, they're pretty good, right? And they could probably play right away as a sophomore, develop them for a year, and they'll play. So I think that opens the door for FCS.
Yeah, and again, it's just nowadays college football is different. I don't know if you heard, but the rule passed. Now going into fall, it's a cap of 105 people on your roster. Some people have 120, some people have 115, some people have 130. But the cap for Division I, FBS, FCS is 105. So we're right now over that. And again, we're going to have to figure that out. But everyone in America is figuring that out because the fact that you have to cut down on that. And again, I think that guys at the higher levels, the group of fives, the P4s, a lot of those guys are going to be asked to leave and find a new home. I think that, in our situation being the FCS level, those guys, position needs, when it comes to what I just said, those guys coming from the higher up programs are going to be able now to find a home. And that's going to help people that need the help, guys at the FCS levels, guys maybe at the group of five levels and so on and so forth. But again, college football is changing. And again, it's coming down now. It's kind of being more of a professional, more of that, cap right there. So, again, we're feeling it right now. But, again, we like to keep the guys that we know are going to be good and still look for those guys that are in the portal and we feel can help us.
Yeah, you don't have to comment on it. I think it sucks because I love the walk-ons. I love your practice. Like you don't have to comment on it because you work in it. I don't, so I can say whatever I want. It
Yeah.
sucks. It. I have two kids that are trying to walk on right now, and I tried to tell them a month ago. I was like, it's going to be tough. Like I walked on. Now I got my ass kicked the first year and realized that it's not for me. It's
Yeah.
not gonna work. But like for example, I walked on just because that was the opportunity. Now if you're capping it back, it just eliminates some of that, I guess. But
Yeah, and again, for us, I know here, like we take walk-ons, and again, that's not just us trying to go against the higher ups and be like, "Yep, we're doing that." We still take walk-ons because we still believe in the diamond in the rough, developing those guys. And
yes,
again, I
yes,
know, for example, Sam Pittman in Arkansas, he'll take walk-ons because probably the greatest walk-on to ever go, Brandon Bolesworth, went there. So again, he wants to keep that tradition alive and keep the tradition and not disrespect the Bullsworth family and keep walk-ons going. I know here we take walk-ons, and again, I have one coming in from the Dallas private school. He's going to be a walk-on tight end for me, and I still believe in giving an opportunity to those guys. I still believe in guys are going to get overlooked. Guys are not going to get looked hard on because of this whole thing, and I think they're going to not fall in the places they want to, but they're going to fall in the hands of the guys that do want them. So, again, I think right now at the cap of 105, it's a shame because some people will not get those opportunities, but I think also the 105 is going to be good because, again, those guys may not get those opportunities at the higher levels they're at, but they're going to fall to the lower level FCS like we are right now, and they're going to get opportunities to play. So, again, people have their opinions on it. I think that, the 105 is going to help out. But again, I know here we still take walk-ons.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just because we all adjust to change. Like 105 is probably more manageable, but I think it's because the way you said it, we're so used to the 130 that this is going to seem. Now, here in 5 years, look back on it and say, yeah, 105 worked. It sends guys to FCS, it sends guys to Division two, it sends guys like there's still opportunities. If they become that elite athlete, they go to the portal, go here. It still can work itself out. I think it's just rapid changes all at once. You're dealing with name, image, and likeness, which I want them paid. You're dealing with transfer portal. You're dealing with that. Then all of a sudden, now you got to deal with this. But I feel bad for you college guys because it keeps changing, keep adjusting. But from everybody I talk to, it's a positive attitude. Like we have to roll with it. We have to do our job still. But I'm like, man, for no extra pay, for extra pressure, you guys deal with a lot.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of things that go into it. A lot of things that again I don't know because I'm not the head coach, and again I know he deals with different things just like we deal with different things. But again, like I said, college athletics are changing. They're changing every day, changing by the minute, by the hour, by the second. So I mean, again, I think that the change that you see right now, that's not going to be anything near to what could happen in the future or what couldn't happen. So again. I like to kind of buckle up for the ride and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll say I'll keep observing, and of course, I have my private conversations with people and talking to all these coaches. They tell me the real. When there's no camera, I get told the real thing, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, this, and that." And but again, they focus on your group of four and your big time schools. I like talking to like you guys because it's more real, and you guys do recruit high school, you guys still do this, and like I went to Eastern, obviously I'm wearing it. They still do the same thing. Like, hey, we still
Yeah.
attack the high school. We still go to the portal, obviously, to plug and play. The only thing I don't like, and I hope it doesn't happen to you guys, is guys get ready for spring ball, and all of a sudden, these guys are like, "Nope, I'm gone," and you're getting ready, and you're like, "Wait a minute, we just lost." Talked to a coach. He's like, "Yeah, last or this year, our top corner left, like right before spring practice, like the day before. Hey, I'm gone, and I'm jumping." And it's like now they have to plug. I talked to Coach Rodriguez at Akron like 2 years ago. First day of spring ball, his top three offensive linemen left. So then he's getting into the portal and trying to recruit quickly to go into
Yeah.
the summer. And he's like, "Steve, I've been coaching a long time. I've never been so stressed out until that moment where you're trying to figure this out because your freshmen aren't ready to go or whatever it is. You need to find that junior to plug in. You need to find that senior that can be plugged in, but also not just be plugged in, like you said, do they align with what you're doing as a coach and as a program? And are they good people? You don't want to bring in somebody that's not going to align. So on top of their talent, you have to figure out very quickly within like a week, are they going to fit in with you?"
Yeah, and again, I had that happen last year. Again, I had 7 tight ends when I first got here, and after the first game, one of them blew out his elbow, and then he quit in the middle of the season, and just different things like that. But again, like I said, it's getting into a professional model. I know guys at the pro levels that they may lose a guy, and the head man's like, "Hey, you got to sign a guy on Tuesday, get him ready for Thursday night football." Like, it is what it is with that. You got to roll with the punches with it. And again, I think if you're a good enough coach and you believe in yourself and you know what to do, then you're going to be okay. Obviously, it's always a transition. When you get a new guy in, you got to teach him everything. But at the end of the day, football is football. Sports are
Mhm.
sports, like people talk about. So I think, when it comes to finding someone that meshes with you, I mean, before you even talk, the nitty gritty, they already mesh with you as it is because they're a football player. You're a football coach. They want to play. You want to coach them. You want to win. They want to do well. So the meshing is there. Obviously, with schematics and verbiage and everything, you gotta do that. But when it comes down to it, finding a guy that fits, I think if you look at it like this guy wants to play, that's a great fit as it is right there. Like, you don't want
Right.
a guy that's not going to play. You want a guy that wants to play. And again, the rest of the stuff, how you coach and everything, that's going to fall on you. But again, if you're a good enough coach, you'll get them going with it.
And then do you have to sell much for guys to stay, or do you kind of hope that your coaching, the culture kind of does that talking for you, or are those conversations happening at the end of the season of like keeping guys? Because that's a new change also, not just recruiting guys to get there. It's, hey, maybe I'm going to leave, and then you have that conversation of trying to keep them.
Yeah, and for me, and I know for me personally, again, I was a little shocked when our guy said, "Hey, I want to stay here." I was shocked in a good way because, again, in today's world, guys are poaching guys left and right. But I was relieved when they said they wanted to stay because they loved how I coached them and they loved, the effort and everything and enthusiasm that I brought. But I was just me.
Mhm.
Again, I am a firm believer if you show, like I talked about the last time I was here, if you show someone you love and care about them, they will stay and do anything for you. And I'm still a firm believer in that. If you treat a guy like crap and just use him just to get, your resume built up so you're on to the next job, then that's not a good look right there because the fact that a kid's going to see that. And when I say kid, a young man's going to see that and he's going to say, well, I don't want to play for that dude. He's just using me. Again, I'm old school like that. Even though I'm not that old, I still believe in show somebody you love and care about them, they'll do anything for you. And again, I use that in everything I go. I use that with, the players I coach. I'm going to use that when my son is here. So, I mean, I do firmly believe that if you show someone you love and care about them, they're going to stay. Obviously, if there's an opportunity where they go, University of Texas came and they want to offer me a scholarship. Well, if you're thinking about staying here, I'm going to pull you aside and say, I think you need to reconsider this. We've had people that have gotten offered by bigger programs, but once they get there, they're not the guy how they were here.
Mhm.
So a lot of them will look at that and say, well, I'm not the guy that I was here, so why am I going to go somewhere and get paid just to sit on a bench? Like, that's not what I want to do. I want to play. So, a lot of guys will come back. And again, I've had conversations with guys that want to hit the portal, that think they want to shoot their shot. Listen, if you want to shoot your shot and you think you're going to play right away and you have a good feeling about it, you have a good opportunity, I say take it. But if you're just going somewhere for the logo and you're not going to play, you may have to reconsider things. Like, again, we had a guy drafted here last year, Levi Drake Rodriguez in the 7th round. And if people think you can't go FCS and get drafted, that's a false mistake right there. I don't know if you've been keeping up with us, but we had a cornerback, Kendall Paul, KP, ran a 4.25 40 here. The following day, ran an electric time, ran a 4.3 flat. He is now getting looks, and he is now getting some movement as far as NFL teams looking at him. Again, FCS dude didn't go to the draft, didn't go to the combine, but showed out. Again, I'm a firm believer. If you show out where you're at, they're going to find you. But back to what you were saying before I go off topic, if a guy has an opportunity to go play somewhere big and has a legit opportunity to go play right away, then I say go take it. If you're going to help, money and everything, help your family out, I say take it. If you're going to go somewhere and sit on the sideline, look good in the logo, you're going to have to reconsider some things.
Right. And that's sadly, they don't figure that out till they're in the portal. Then
Exactly.
they go, wait a minute. Or I think the biggest thing is somebody tells them something and then they believe it and then they want to go do it. And they get false hope, or social media, they see this guy does this guy does this, because it's trickled down to the high school now. Like, not necessarily here in Illinois where they're like, I'm going to go here, because they can't do that in Illinois. It's just once you move, you have to wait like a year to play.
Yeah.
According to the rules. But then what happens is the kids want us to almost like talk to them to keep them out and talk that way and do those things. And so that's kind of changed on us, where we're like, wait a minute, if you're playing for me or playing for our program next year, like, I don't know if I'm going to play, and they're kind of hinting at to talk to me a certain way to keep me.
Yeah.
No, we're a public school. We don't. Yeah, I want you to stay and play, but I'm not going to sit here every day and do that, or the threat of you going to a private school. Like, we're not going to play this game but it's trickled down now to where they see a guy at Miami play 9 different teams in 9 years, and then it's it kind of trickled down to us now. And
Yeah.
maybe the likeness is trickling down too to these high school teams.
Yeah, and it is. And again, I'm speaking from experience. This isn't me holding back. This is me being 100% raw and real. I will never beg anyone to stay where I'm at. I will never say to somebody, I think you need to stay here. Please stay here. I keep it 100. Again, I am who I am. If I have to beg you to play somewhere, most likely the next place you go to, it's not going to work as well. If somebody has to beg, if a coach has to beg a player to stay and football and everything, then that's not just, hey, I'm leaving because of a program. That's a personal trait issue. Again, you can ask any of the guys I coach here. I keep it 100%. I keep it 100. If a guy says I'm thinking about leaving, I will say, okay, what's your reasoning? If he says, well, I feel like I'm not getting enough playing time, I'll be upfront and honest and say, listen, you go in the portal, you're going to be behind 5,000 other cats. Most likely, schools will go from the top to the bottom. Again, you are not on a radar unless you are popping off on charts and everything. You're going to be in the portal for a few months, and you're probably going to get offered the same offers you were before. And again, that's not me just sugarcoating it. That's not me putting smoke up their rear. That's me being honest. Because again, I've seen this happen before. And again, some kids take my advice and go, you know what? I'm going to stay because he was right. Some people think I'm a liar and say, I don't believe you. You're full of it. You know what? Then I'm sorry, learn the hard way. But, I'm very upfront and honest with people about it. Now, again, like I told you, if a guy has an opportunity to go to like a Texas or Texas A&M and it's legit, yes, go take it. But if you're wanting to transfer because you think you're better than what you are and you think you should be this, and that, well, if you should have been this, and that, it would have happened by now. You would have got an opportunity. But again, that's just me and who I am.
Which, in my experience, kids respect that. They may not respect it in the moment as you say it. It might be the next day after that, all of a sudden it clicks like, oh, I respect the honesty, because maybe nobody's done that to them before. Maybe somebody has kiss their butt for years, and then somebody's like, I'm not here to kiss your butt. I'm here to help you be a better person, be a better football player, and do this. This is my job, and I'm going to help you, but I'm not here to, you know, bow down to you and say, like, please stay, or you're this, you're this.
Yeah,
'Cause
and again, I look at it, and again, when guys ask the question, I give, life experience. I always tell people, I go by the last dance. I'll never ask somebody to do something that I wouldn't do.
right.
Again, I tell people all the time, when it comes to opportunities, jobs, for example, again, I know a lot of people that are doing everything they can just to do good on the resume and then move up. Again, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I know for me personally, for example, if opportunities come, I can't just think, oh, it's good for me. I have a wife and I have a son
Yeah.
that's going to be here, so I have to put them before me. And again, I do it with the kids now. I don't talk to them as if I'm putting me over them. I'm putting them as if I was in their shoes. Again, today the world is tough being a college athlete now. Again, you got people telling you should be this, you should be that, talking in your ear. But again, and I can't speak for everybody in all of college sports, especially college football. But I know me personally, I'm upfront and honest about them, and I put them in the shoes as if I was in there. And again, like I said, after we talk, if they don't believe me and they think I'm full of it, then you know what? God bless you, man. Learn it your own way. I tried my best, but again, a lot of the times guys will be upfront and honest, and they respect that because again, I shoot to them straight. I look at it as if I was a player and a coach was shooting me lies, I'm not going to play for him. I'm not going to trust him. So, for me, I like to be upfront and honest with people when they have questions, and I always answer them to the honest of my abilities.
I'm going to switch gears from the transfer portal stuff because I could go on for hours.
Oh
Just
yeah.
that. Um, you obviously mentioned like you're a type of person. You are where your feet are, and but I watch like college coaches. They are where their feet are, and then the next day they're gone. Is that because? And I'm not here to get you in trouble. I'm just kind of curious for other guys about like the job search in college football. Is it literally a phone call? Let's say tomorrow a guy calls you, like, I need a guy, and they call you. Or is it sometimes the coaches are actively looking? Like if I'm a tight ends coach somewhere and I'm sending things out because I want to move up, or is it, hey, should it be do your job and somebody's going to call you and give you that?
And again, I'm different, just like every other coach in this world is different. For me, I am a firm believer you are where your feet are. I always say to people when they say what's your most favorite place you've coached at? It's East Texas A&M. Why? It's my current job. I'm a firm believer in what you do at your current place is going to set you up for your next place. Again, if you're somebody that just goes around and job hops and doesn't have the opportunity to build, then people are going to catch on to that. Again, it's all about not what you know, but who you know. As cliche as it is, that's in the world today. But again, I think it also has something to do with how you are in the place you're at. Are you a good person to be around? Did you leave the place better than you found it? Do the kids like you? Are you personable? Do you care about the players? And again, the most important question is if you get brought into a new program, are you going to make us better? And again, people, sometimes it is a phone call away. Sometimes it is a family member that knows somebody who knows somebody. But I know for me in particular, where I'm at right now, I keep my feet grounded where I'm at. And again, I'm a firm believer in where you are right now and how you do there is going to project your next job. Because again, like you talked about before we went live here, you got an opportunity. You didn't even know you were interviewing for the job.
Right.
Again, you could get any opportunity. There's eyes and ears all over places. It just takes one phone call, one recommendation, or just one look on TV just to see what you're doing or how you're doing it to a program. So, when it comes to that, I don't know what coaches are doing, but I know a lot of coaches, especially guys that are hiring, they're going to look at the place you're at and how well you did there.
Yeah, because kind of for me too, where now high school is different, obviously, than college, but even in high school, I grew up in Central Illinois. I coached at Charleston High School for a few years. My now wife got a job in the suburbs, so We moved up in 2018, and I almost had to reinvent myself. It was almost like whatever you did in Central Illinois, it kind of matters, but this is now a whole different animal of like suburban football and
Yeah.
everything else. So luckily, I went to one high school for 1 year, but I was volunteering. Another high school offered me a job for a stipend, so I jumped and went. Now, to some people, like, why are you jumping from 1 year to the next? Well, I have to look at me and a stipend, even though it may not be a lot. That few $1,000s can go a long way to something. There for 1 year. Next year, moved to Addison Trail. So again, now it's 3 schools in 3 years. And some people even said that looks kind of bad because you're going from boom, boom, boom. But I had to make it about money where I was like, at Addison Trail, I'm now the run game coordinator. The stipend shoots up. But what happened was I made that decision of this looks bad. I'm not trying to look bad. I'm not trying to do any of that. And I've been at Addison Trail for 5 years. Now it's turned into basketball, softball. And I think that also shows the head football coach there, hey, he stayed. Like you said, I didn't know I was interviewing for an OC spot, but like he stayed. He's done this. He's done this. He's took on extra responsibilities. So now I need an OC without even interviewing for it. He picks me, and I'm like, okay, I think it's because I finally put my feet down and said, this is where it is.
Yeah.
And I know high school's different, and we have to look at money, but I hope now it looks better because it didn't look good there for a while. Jumping. Coached basketball at Nequa for 2 years while also doing this, and then jumped to this school. But I also tried to spin it in a way of like, look, this should show you I'm willing to do anything. Like, if you have a coaching job, I'm willing to do anything. And I've said that to coaches, like, hey, I've done this, but now I'm at one school. But if I ever, but I came across that road again this year. We moved from Naperville to Plano. Plano to Addison is 40-minute drive.
Yeah.
So now it became where I kind of looked at other schools and said, is there a school closer to where I live? And the head coach knew it. I went and told him, like, hey, I'm not trying to leave, but I have to look at my opportunities. But luckily, he was like, no, I get it, because that is a long drive. It's up to you. And I made the decision. I was like, I'm not leaving. And I think that also propelled me to be the OC. So it was just an image thing, but also I think allowing me to explain myself. Like, why did you jump from school to school? Why are you looking at other high schools? And like you said, you're going to put your family first. I'm in the same boat. A son's coming in September. I have to look at, is living closer a better option? Is this a better option? Is not coaching 3 sports a better option? And those are roads I have to cross. But I was just curious how it compared from college to high school because I've done it.
Yeah, and again, like for me, and again, I was a high school coach at one point. Again, I'm a firm believer, and again, I know I may sound like I'm being a hypocrite, but I don't coach just for the money. Obviously, everyone says, well, that's a lie right there, because looking at college, college coaches, there is money behind this. Yes, there is. Don't get me wrong. But I think if you love what you do, you'll never ever have to worry about money. You love doing it. Obviously, when you bring a wife and kids and everything, it's a little different. But I do think that, and I do believe that if you love where you're at, and you love the people you're with, and you love the program and everything, you'll stay. Obviously, other factors will come into it. Close to home, benefits, stuff for your family. But again, I think it's good that you stayed loyal to a place. And again, I think it's good that you look at, hey, I was jumping ship to ship. That didn't look good. Let me keep my feet here. Let me grow my roots. And I think that is great to do. Like, I'm a firm believer in starting a culture without even thinking you were starting a culture.
Right. But the thing I also did was I keep in touch with those 2 schools. It was Lombard East and East Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the Lombard East head coach, I got the OC job. I was so excited. I texted him like, hey, OC. We started having conversations about like organizing offense. So he was trying to help me even though he's at another school.
Yeah.
So even though I was jumping, I still would reach out and say, if you guys need anything, let me know. Like, I'm not, And they understood once I explained, like, hey, I'm leaving to go to East Aurora because you don't have an open stipend. They have a stipend. I have to take it. I have to think about this. East Aurora going to Addison was the same type of thing. And then I realized I was like, well, I can't keep doing that part though. It's one thing to go from not paid to paid. It's another to be paid to paid to paid. And I aligned with all the head coaches I work for right now. The last three. And like you said, it's the people I looked at Addison Hill's coaching staff, and I was like, and we're trying to turn it around. Like first year head coach, I come in with some experience, and I said, let's turn this around, right? Let's get this back. And so it turned into COVID year going 1-5. That fall was terrible. We went 0-9. Then it was 2-7, 6-3, 7-2. So now it's getting to that. And like you said, hopefully one day if the head coach spot opens up, OC spot opens up closer to home, and somebody calls me and says, I saw the body of work, you stayed, you did it. That was your interview. Let's have a conversation. Then I'll start listening and make that decision from there.
Yeah, and again, I think, and again, I can't speak for everybody, but I think what you do and how you go about things and the work you put into it, that could be your interview without you even saying a word. And again, I don't know if I said it live on here, but again, congratulations on the OC job.
Thanks.
I think it's great. And again, I think that it's just going to give you another layer to hey, this is what I can do. I was a really good offensive line coach. Now I'm going to be a really good OC and quarterback coach. So, I'm excited for you. This opportunity doesn't come around much. So I'm very excited that you got it.
Well, I appreciate it. I don't know if I was a good O-line coach. I could speak the language, I guess I should say. But I was an OC when I was young. I was like 21, 22. And this is kind of my redemption, I guess, because when you're 21, 22, you think you know everything.
And you don't. We all been there.
And you don't. And I think that's why the head coach is like, oh my God, look how organized your manual is. I have things broken down into different ways. And I thought about it. I'm like, I didn't do this when I was 21, 22. I've learned so much because I'm going to be 35 this year. Like I've learned so much from that. But I also I would tell younger coaches, don't rush into it because yes, everybody wants to be an OC. Everybody wants to be a DC. Everybody wants this just because you control it a little bit. Like we all have that. I don't know if control is the right word, but we're competitive. So we're like, we want to do things a certain way.
No, control is the right word. I mean, if you're calling it, you want it to look your way. You want it to be your baby. You own it. So, I mean, control is the right word.
But like I said, I learned so much. The Glenbard East coach, John Walters, saved my coaching career because I was going to coach again. I had such a bad experience at Charleston. It ended bad. Partly because I was immature, but partly because of other factors that I don't have to get into. But he brought me in. I saw how he did it. I went to East Aurora. Nick Koo coached, good running back from North Central. I saw how he did it. Now I work for Chris Bazant, who also played at North Central. I see how he does it, and I'm like, okay, this is the right way to do it. Here's how to organize it. Here's how to explain it. The podcast has helped me because I talk to great people, such as yourself. You guys all give me something and do this. And so this is kind of like my redemption of like, now I know how to go about it. I'm older. So basically it's just kind of like my redemption. Like, hey, it's my second chance to try this. If it doesn't work out, then I know I'm a position coach and that's all I can do. But I won't know till I do it. And like I said, when the head coach was worried about having too much on my plate, I was like, kind of like you said, it's football. I don't care if I'm the O-line coach, tight ends coach, speed coach, weight coach, and OC. I don't care. It all fits together. But man, I'm wondering, there's a bet. How bored is Steve going to get with the quarterbacks? Does it take 1 week or 2 weeks? There's a bet going on of Steve's used to hitting down there with the O-line guys that go quarterback.
Yeah, and again, I'm not a quarterback guy, but just from experiences being around quarterback, I think, number one, your headache's gonna go away because you went from probably 20 dudes, now you probably got 5 or 6. So I think that's gonna help you. But also, I think it's a challenge just to see, have the quarterback what the reads are gonna be, what they call it, the line, audibles, all that good stuff. So I think it's going to be a good challenge. And again, I think a lot of coaches should do this where you got to get comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Again, you are comfortable with offensive line. I know for me, prior to this experience, I was comfortable with defensive line. But I think it's going to help you grow as a coach going from O-line to quarterbacks, just like it did for me going from D-line to tight ends.
Well, I don't know if I told you last time. I coached at my high school, and then my head coach got fired, so I went to Charleston. Brand new head coach went up to him. I said, "Hey, coaching football is what I love." I went straight to him. Like, he didn't talk to me. I just found him in the weight room. I was coaching track at the high school. I walked straight into the weight room. I said, "Hey, are you Coach Hogan? Can I please talk to you?" And right there, I forced him to interview me. I said, "I want to coach
Yeah.
football. I've coached O-line, D-line. Here's the offense I know. Here's the defense I know. Blah, 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 blah." Next day, he sees me. He goes, "Hey, come here." He goes, "Hey, you're going to volunteer, but I want you to coach." And I said, "Cool, whatever. I just want to get out of my hometown. I want to do a different, just get my foot in
Yeah.
somewhere." He goes, "But you're going to do linebackers, running backs. You're going to help out the DC and varsity, and you're going to call the JV defense." And I looked at him. I said, "But that's not what I said. I'm an
Yeah.
O-line, D-line guy."
Yeah.
His words to me was, "That's cool. You're doing running backs, linebackers," and repeated himself. And it was the best thing because then it opened up my mind of doing other things. So while I was there, I coached running backs, linebackers. Another year, I did quarterbacks, believe it or not, already before. And then I kind of did receivers, safeties, stuff like that. And it just opened up my mind of, like you said, being uncomfortable, doing something different. But maybe you bring something from that coaching another position to that new position. But I will tell you, I did get bored. Year two of quarterbacks down there, I was like, when do we hit people? Like,
Yeah.
when do we, like, the RPO stuff and the checks and all that is fun. But there was that part of me that was like, man, I miss hitting. But now that I'm older, you made a good point. Instead of worrying about 5 guys, who do I sub in for them? Can they block this? Can they do this? And having that headache, I've got my 3 or 4 guys over here, and we'll be fine. You're right. In that aspect, I won't have such a headache.
Yeah. And again, I think, it's going to be great because the fact that, like I said, you get to do, like, you went to that place and you said, "Hey, this is what I do." And that coach said, "That's great, but this is what you need to do and you're going to do." So, and again, I think every coach in the world should do that where they get uncomfortable and they get comfortable because that's how you grow. So,
Well, coaching quarterbacks there, then, like I said, I left. When I went to Globbard East, he asked me, like, would you coach offense or defense? And I said, I'll do whatever, but I'm more comfortable with offense. And he goes, cool. We have just an offensive staff, just defensive staff, so you'll be just offense. And I was like, awesome. And he goes, I want you to be the second O-line coach. I want 2 O-line coaches. And I said, cool. So then I got branded as an O-line coach. So I will say this. People should coach O-line because I think it'll help you get a job because East Aurora, they need an O-line coach. Addison Trail, he said, I need a true O-line coach. I don't need somebody that has never done it before or whatever. Like, you played it, you coached other positions. I need an O-line guy. And that kind of, again, helped me get my foot through. So I got branded as an O-line coach. So until March of this year, I thought to myself, I'll never be anything else other than an O-line coach, which I'm okay with. I'm
yeah.
fine with it. You get branded as that. I'll probably be the biggest, heaviest quarterback coach in the conference, though. But now I have another thing. If I go somewhere else, saying, "Well, I went from O-line to quarterbacks, and
Yeah.
here's what we did." But
Yeah.
I'll be the heaviest one in the conference. I guarantee it.
Yeah. I mean, man, you would be the heaviest quarterback. But hey, you know what? The hefty lefty, RIP to him, man. He was one of the
Oh
heaviest
man,
quarterbacks could sling it. So, hey, it works out. It's all good.
Well, I already joked. I was like, I'll show them the mechanics, but I ain't throwing the football because as an old lineman, I can't throw the football very far.
Yeah.
I'll show them the mechanics because I've coached it before. But when we play catch, I'm just going to catch and give the other quarterback. Like, hey, I'll catch it, but here you go. I ain't throwing it.
That's what I do here. Again, luckily we have guys that are injured that quarterbacks can throw the ball better than me. So whenever we do, work on our routes, work on, breaking off of it, working on curving off the sideline, I have them throw it. I can teach it and everything, but luckily for them, has it. Now the blocking and everything, luckily you don't got to throw for that. So, I'm good in that situation. But after a bunch of labrum and bicep surgeries, my throwing days are done. So luckily, I have somebody that does a better job than me and that can do a lot better than I can. So,
Well, I used to show the guys how to block. Now I have back issues. Now I had to be careful about how I did it. But I still had to demonstrate them how to cut block because they just have never been taught. So I'm like, all right, put the bag here. I take my phone out, my keys, take my hat off. I'm like, here we go. Show them how to cut. This was the first year I hurt myself. I did it. I stood up and I looked at the head coach. I was like, coach them for a second. I had to walk away. I'm like, oh man.
can't do it like you used to, my man. Can't do it like you used to.
No, and well, the head coach was excited because I did it. He goes, see, that's the perfect form because he came down. See, our head coach loves for the O-line to cut block. If that was his pass protection every play, that would be it. He loves because in high school we can still do it as long as you don't high low him. You just have to go.
Yeah.
And so I did. And he got all excited. I stood. I was like, "You take over for a second." I had to walk down the other side of the field. I'm hurting, and I come back. He goes, "You all right?" And I was like, "I can't demonstrate that ever again because something popped. Something was wrong." And I used to be able to block a kid. I used to be able to hit the sled. I used to be able to do that for a rep or two. Now I'm like, hey, I find my most experienced lineman. I'm like, you do it. I ain't doing it no more. You're like, you have to do it now. I can't.
Hey, at least they knew that you can do it. I mean, and maybe it not have been for a long time, but at least during that time they knew you could do it.
Oh, let me rephrase. I'll do it on air. Like pass setting, I'll do on air.
A lot better.
Or a bag. I'll somebody hold a bag, and I just like show them where I want the aiming points. I'm like, hey, this is what it looks like. But they'll make fun of me. I'll be out of breath, and I'm like, hey, when you're my age, come back and find me because it's not the same, man. It's never the same.
Yeah. The years go by, so you can't really do it like you used to.
No. Did you say this was last year? Was it your first year being tight ends?
It was. So last year was my first year being tight ends.
Well, you probably answered it and I forgot, but you were excited about it last year. The way you've been talking, you were super excited. And I know the record may not have shown it, but like, how did you feel comfortable-wise doing it for your first time? And like, what did you learn as you were going through it? Like, you're a coach, you're going to figure it out, but how did it go from start to finish and into now?
From start, I mean, honestly, so when I first got here, I mean, it was a quick transition because I got here and the following day we had spring ball. So again, I talked about being comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. So when I first met my guys, I couldn't be me because I didn't want to go guns blazing when I first came in there. With just how I am, with just my voice and everything, I'm very loud, very passionate about what I do, but I like guys to warm up to it because, again, I don't want to come in guns blazing because nowadays with kids and young people, if you come in guns blazing, they're probably going to just tell you to shoe off and that's it. So I had to be really quiet. I had to kind of, let them come to me a little bit. But, the first time doing it, obviously you're going to make a lot of mistakes. I mean, I still make mistakes now, but you correct them. During the year, as the year went on, we got better at a lot of things. My goal, and after every year, I always have goals of how I want to do things. My goal this year was to be a better tight end coach, be more technical, be more fundamental technique, be better at the run game, be better at the pass game. Tell them, hey, if the ball's above your eyes, diamond. If it's low, pink. I want to do all that. And I think coming into this year, the best thing that ever happened to me was being uncomfortable, was getting kind of thrown into the fire. Because you kind of go in there going, oh boy, I'm not used to this right here. But that's how you learn. That's how you be a better coach is learning from your mistakes. So, this year, knock on wood, it's gone really good so far. Our guys have gotten better at the run game, gotten better at the pass game, catching, being more of a threat in the pass game. So when I first got here, I was not saying that right there because I
Right.
was a little nervous because, again, you don't know what you don't know. But being a football coach and being a D-line guy, the one thing that always gave me a problem being a D-line coach was a tight end that could catch the ball and that could block. So that was one of our big focuses. Was being better at the run game, and we've gotten better, and we've gotten guys that do that can do it. So honestly, I'm excited about this year, not just for personally, me having being a dad for the first time, but I'm excited about bringing an intensity to the tight end room that they didn't see last year, that they're getting more this year, and they're buying into it. Again, one of our mottos this year is having a 4th-and-1 mentality. Again, I always talk about the mottos being, again, coming in and being a Rolex, but this year, our mentality and our creed, so to say, is having a 4th-and-1 mentality where everything's on the line. It has to be perfect. Again, is it going to be perfect the first time you do it? No. But we just got to keep working to get there, keep working to have that mentality of it. And again, they've bought into it and they've loved it. And knock on wood, I have a really good group of guys. And not just a group of tight ends I have, but, other guys are seeing it too. Just by the way, I come out to practice, and if I keep being me, they come along with it. But, this year, coming into year 2, it was a very big focal point, very important to me to have a 4th-and-1 mentality for my guys and keep us, building from last year. Again, I always joke around and say we may not have done well, but when we changed from Texas A&M Commerce to East Texas A&M, we went 2-1. We finished 3-9. Not the greatest year, but I'll take the 2-1 as East Texas A&M any day of the week. So build off that. But I'm very excited about this year. Just going from year 1 to year 2 and seeing the transition and seeing our guys doing it, and not just them doing it from the coaching point, but me being a better tight end coach. Again, a lot of people say being a tight end coach is tough because you got to be an offensive line coach and a wide receiver coach. So again, I love the challenge of that and being that. So
to get to get better, what did you do this off season? Like talk to people, clinicking, or was it kind of you figured it out yourself? Like who did
yeah,
you?
for me, and again, I'm different. So after the season was done, I sat down and I went over all 750 clips of the tight ends being there, run and pass game. And I took notes of what we need to do. As a matter of fact, the notes are right here as we speak. Right. So, and again, I took notes on what I needed to do. I reached out to people and I watched clinics of how they needed to go about it. Again, and it was the summertime of going to camps such as Clemson, Oklahoma, and seeing how they do with their guys. And it was taking, and again, coaching, and I get a kick out of it when people go, what does it take to be a good coach? Because you know how it is. Coaching, you take something of somebody else and you play it off as your own. And they may think you are an innovator, but the truth is you just stole something and played it
Yep.
off as your own. And that's kind of what I did is I looked at different things of what we need to be good at, different steps of how to be a better run game blocker, how to be a better, catcher in the pass game. And I clinked with people. I talked with people. I watched a lot of film. And I looked at all the things that I put together and I said, how can I get our guys better? And I started from the ground up, from better 3-point stance, 2-point stance, out as a receiver in our receiver stance, how we get off the ball, keep our elbows tightened in, how we run our routes, whether it's faking people, not with our upper body, but with our lower body. It's catching with our eyes, not just our hands, and going from there. And again, I think that, it's tough sometimes looking in the mirror and saying you didn't do a good job as a coach. And sometimes, the hardest thing to do is not point the finger, but point the thumb. And for me, I pointed the thumb a lot this offseason on what our problems were. And I looked at what needed to be done and how it needed to be done. And right now, that's what we're doing right now, is just getting better at the things that that we were not good at last year. And knock on wood, we're doing a heck of a job right now. We're not there yet. But for me personally, it was a lot of sitting there and saying, okay, how can we do it better? How can we communicate better? But most importantly, how can we execute this better?
Mm-hmm. I also believe being a coach, you'll never feel more smarter and dumber at the same time. And this is
Oh,
what I
no
mean.
doubt about that. No doubt.
Because, like before we got on, I'm not going to give too much away about my offense recording because I just don't know who's listening, but I also don't care really. The stuff I have, I stole from great coaches. I feel smart when I present it to other coaches, like, "Oh, this is great," or the kids, "This is great." I'm like, "I know, right?" And
Yeah.
you feel really smart, and then I go home. I'm like, "Man, I'm so dumb because I had to steal it. I didn't come up with it," or you know. Now, as the season progresses, I'll probably put my own twist on it, obviously, because there's something. But then I'm like, my twist on it, I probably got from somebody else. But then you feel smart, then you feel dumb at the same time because we say this all the time as high school coaches. You college coaches are way smarter than us because we'll go watch a drill or something, and we're like, man, my drill is too complicated. That's really simple. Or like a piece of equipment, like, oh, all you had to do was a rope. All you needed was a rope. All you needed was a PVC pipe. All you needed was this. We're trying to buy shit, and they're like, no, 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 no. Go to Walmart, grab this. And so there's just never a moment where you feel smarter and dumber at the same time.
Yeah,
And we,
no doubt. And again, like for me and everyone always, some people, when I talk to them, they're like, what do you do for, your EDD drills? What do you do? Do you do this? We do this, we do that. There's only a couple things I have. I have 4 towels because I have 4 guys. So I have 2 towels that are like a board and others you put in between your arms, keep your elbows tight. I have the big padded balls. So when you come up and you hit, you uppercut. I have also the hand shield where you lock on. I have cones and I have footballs. And maybe I'll ask for a pop-up sometimes. That's it. Because to be a really great coach, it's going back to the little things. And kind of to go off you a little bit, some of the best drills that I got were from high school coaches because every year it's like the transfer portal. But instead of the transfer portal, it's guys graduating. So for me, and again, I was a high school coach, for 2 to 3 years. And, again, I go back to my roots of that, looking at high school coaches and how they taught it. And again, the higher up you go, like I said, it's the simple things. It's the simplest drills, but just doing it 1,000 times every day. You'd be surprised how many times I tell my guys when they run block, the rhythm of your feet should sound like this, like a clap. I probably have clapped over 1,000,000 times just to get it down. So when they hear their footwork, it's a quick pop-up. It's super quick. That's not nothing new. That's been around for generations and generations. But for me, it's just always doing the simplest things. Because again, the simplest things you do for a guy, that's the easiest thing for them to listen to it. Because again, keep it simple. As the old saying goes, keep it simple. So
yeah, one of my dumbest, smartest moments was when I got to Addison. The kids have never really skip poled on power. It was always open up. And I was like, no, 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 opening up's trap, opening up's GT, we're going to skip pole. And they just couldn't do it. So I got mad and I said, screw this. So I put cones. I said, cones, this is where your feet start in our stances. If that cone moves, your feet are too wide or whatever. I put a cone here. I said, when we bring that back leg, if you hit that cone, you're going back too far. Then your next step, if you hit this other cone, you've opened up too much. So I had a bunch of cones. And I'm like, this is what we're doing today. And here's the cone for A gap with different colors. Like the red's A gap, the blue is B gap. And we learned, and I put bags, like, see how this is covered? And went back to it. And the coaches looked at me, why do you need all these cones? I was like, because I'm going grade school on these guys. We're doing cones, we're doing this. And then the next year we go do skip poles, and the kids were like, oh, you need the cones? Because they got so used to we want they started doing that. So I screwed with them one day. I was like, no, I need bags. We're gonna use bags now. If that bag goes flying across the field because you kicked it or whatever it was. And I'm like, man, that was a smart moment for me because it helped their footwork, helped them stay square. Or I'd hold up my hand old school. Like when they skip pull, I'm going to show a 1, a 2, a 5, and you got to say the number, which tells me you're saying square, your eyes are up, and everything else. And I'm like, I feel like I stole that, But like, I don't remember ever seeing cones being put out for guys doing skip pull. Did I just create that? And I'm like, I feel so smart right now. And I'm like, but I know somebody out there had done it because I'm stupid. And so when it comes to being simple, I have to find my own way to do it because I'm stupid. I'm like, I relate to these kids. I got to keep it simple.
Yeah, and again, that's how it is. Like, and you'd be shocked at how many people just don't teach that. Like, again, you'd be shocked how many people do not know the difference between power and counter. Obviously, gap scheme, you have a kick out and you have a wrapper. Power, you have a kick out. That's your pulling guard. If you want to go 11 personnel, you got to do something different to have the wrap, whether it's down blocking, whether it's double teaming up to whatever you call an ID. And then for counter, it's a kick out and a wrapper. Obviously, you got GY counter, you got GT counter. You can do a whole bunch of different things, but you'd be shocked how many people just don't know the difference with that. And again, it just comes back to keeping it simple. And, for us, that's how we do it, just by, pulling. We have cones 5 yards apart. I'll have a guy here. I'll have my kick out guy here. He reads this guy as the pulling guard. If this guy blocks out, he's tied off his butt, going to the ID. If he logs them, he's tied off his butt, going up to the ID. And again, we do that every day. And people think that, wow, that's the craziest drill ever. But I got it from a guy at Texas Tech who got it from another guy that was doing it for years. So again, it comes back to just keeping it simple, but keeping it simple to the point where guys will never, ever forget it. And that's how you put points on the score, put points on the scoreboard to make it going with that. So
I did the same thing with wide zone 2 years ago. First time ever putting it in was start off with a cone. Here's our starting point. Put a cone here. This is our ending point. And they go, well, I'm not really going up the field. I'm like, I want you to understand that. We're lose ground to gain ground. It's okay to do that. And I put the cones out. Then one time I get the old boards out, old school boards. And I'm like, all right, now we got to stay underneath this board. And then all of a sudden I add a defender. How does this change? How does it do this? And again, it came to a point to where when we do wide zone, hey, do you need the board? Do you need the cone? Do you need the bag? And sometimes I say no. I'm like, we're going to try it without it. Let's see how you do. Or I saw a drill, they took a broomstick on their back, and that's how I learned how to pass protect. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? I'm like, This is brilliant. Coach Bart Miller at U of I, my tackles have a problem with opening up. I was at their spring practice last year. He goes, you have them pass set, you take 3 steps, they pass set 3 steps. You take 3 steps, they pass set 3 steps. I'm like, I'm an idiot. Why did I not think of that? And I'm writing it down like you did. I'm writing it down on my phone. I'm like stealing this from Coach Miller and like doing this. And I don't know. And then sometimes I get too complicated, which we all do.
Sometimes I'm guilty of it too. And sometimes I'll catch myself, just like I know probably sometimes you caught yourself and you just go, all right, let's bring it back a little bit. Because again, you want to be the best of it. You want to be like, oh, I got this idea and we're gonna do this. But then you think about it and you're like, all right, let me bring it back a little bit. That's a little above our pay grade right there. Like, let me bring it back. So,
well, I'm doing that with offense this year. The first meeting I had with my 3 offensive coaches and the head coach, I said I went over coaches' expectations, and the top ones were, coach your position group. We don't need one position group trying to coach the other. It's one thing to have a conversation with a kid, but we're not doing that. Then the next thing I put, it said, keep Steve accountable. And they said, what does that mean? And I said, make sure that I'm doing my job. Make sure I don't accelerate too fast by trying to install too much. Make sure that I'm doing what I'm preaching to you guys. If I'm not doing it, you need to pull me aside and tell me. And I'm not going to tell you to F off. I'm not going to do any of this. I'm going to listen to you and say, you're right. Like, or if I step on your toes, I grab the running back, I grab the tight end, and I freak out or something's not right. Pull me aside and say, Coach, I got it. Like, it's my group, I got it. And I'm going to say, you got it. And they weren't taken back by it, but I don't know if they've ever been told that, like, to keep me accountable, even though I'm like the boss, I'm like, we're in this together.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that's great. Like, I'm not a head coach. I'd like to be a head coach someday. I have aspirations to be a head coach someday. But again, just from what I've seen, like, one of my big things would be you gotta let your coaches coach, and they're gonna tell you, because again, it's your responsibility as the OC to call the shot. Like, it goes obviously head coach, coordinator. So for you, OC, your position coaches, and so on and so forth. And if you can't get your position coaches right, then this is gonna be tough right there. You and the head coach are gonna bump heads. So I think it's great that you do that with your guys, with your offensive staff, because that shows not only you being accountable, but that shows like, hey, I trust you. We're in this together. My way ain't always the right way. So if you got something, tell me. I'm gonna make the final call on it. But let's do this together. And I think that's great. That's great for you, when you want to be a head coach someday, because you're starting to do things that you would want to be done. So,
well, again, going kind of full circle, what I learned from being 21 to 22, I don't know if I ever would have done that. We certain situation led to arguments on the field with us coaches. Some 45-year-old telling me that I don't know what I'm doing because I'm 20 years younger. So learning from that, coming into that meeting on my notes, I said, you guys do what you need to do. Let's have conversations after each practice, each game. What do we have to tweak? I'm open-minded. So if you tell me, hey, this run scheme is just not working, our kids just can't, we've been doing it, we don't have the athletes to do it. I go to my manual. Is there another one we can plug in? Do we think we can do this better? Let's have that conversation. It's not going to be we're dying on this hill because, like in high school, I may not have the kids be able to run the certain run scheme or the certain quarterback. Can we adjust it to our terminology and do this? And I told them that's their job. I said, your job is to make sure that we're going by it. Your job is to tell me what they can do. Can we do this? Can we do this? We're struggling with this. Let's fix it. Let's do something. And it's easier said than done. We're all going to be, like I said, new O-line coach. We brought up a wide receivers coach. Running backs coach last year was his first year with us, but he has Division I playing experience. And he's very simple-minded. He knows he can't bring the early 2000s or whatever Penn State stuff to us, and it's just going to roll with it. But then it helps that our head coach is involved. He's going to make sure that's done too, because like you said, ultimately I answer to him. So if it's not going right, it's going to come on me. What's going on with the offense? But they bought into it. They're like, sure. And then they all said, hold us accountable too. So it became like, hold us accountable and to move forward and to do this. So I'm hoping what I've learned and showed them on my manual that I had made, that it would get done and move in a better direction.
Yeah. And again, it like you say, like, it's not always going to be pretty. There may come times where you butt heads. Again, I've been on staffs where I butt heads numerous times with different people, but I call that a discussion of difference. It's not always have to be a fight. Like, hey, it's a difference.
It's not personal.
No, absolutely not. Like, you could just say, hey, I don't think this is right here. I think we can run this better. Well, we did this like that. Okay, well, we don't have guys like that. Like, we don't have tackles that are tall. We got, guys that are athletic. Okay, so what do you expect to do? All right, so instead of blocking down, maybe he can dip and get up quick, however you want to do it. But I do think it is good to have those discussion of difference, because every great program, whether it's Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame, the Bear, whatever, there's always going to be discussion differences. No one's going to be the same. That's why they're successful, because you discuss it and you may not like it, but you come up with a common, solution of, okay, I don't like this way. I don't like that way. Let's come up with something that's going to help us where we can combine it together.
Well, I just had that conversation today with our freshman OC. He called me and he goes, I just want to talk about the formations you're putting in. I just want to make sure I'm on the same. It wasn't to correct it or like change it. He just wanted to make sure that he understood. And I said, yep. Then we started talking about, okay, what's the varsity run schemes you want to do? And I told him, and he said, okay, I know the freshmen coming up. I can already tell you this and this they're going to struggle with. And I said, cool. Then we'll have a discussion about other run schemes. Can we plug them in? Can we get the same result and use this terminology? And his first response was, I'm using your terminology. Whatever I knew, whatever this was done, we're using your terminology at the freshman level, because he used to coach varsity. So he's like, my ultimate goal is JV varsity. Even though maybe you ran buck sweep and they run power and you have to switch them at the varsity level, but you already know coming in, like, they're really good at this. Or the receivers, they're really good at blocking, so you have to do this and this and call it this. Something else we're doing, every position group's going to know the blocking. And what I mean by that is, and I was telling them this, I call a kick out block a kick out block. This is how I do it. Here's how you do it, aiming points. I want it to be the same for tight ends, wide receivers. Obviously, you tweak them because you're in positions, but I want them to know what a kick out block is. I want them to know what a hook block is. So when the linemen hear it, when the tight end hears it, when the wing hears it, when the wide receivers hear it, it's all universal. Not a coach saying, "Oh, this whatever you want to call it banana. This banana block."
Yeah.
Well, no, I call it a hook. We're going to call it a hook. And so from the ground up, it has to be called this. And his first response was, "That's what I wanted to hear." Like, it was awesome. He's like, he had more colorful words. He's a colorful man. So he's like, "That's what I want to effing hear." All right. Because I've coached his 2 sons. So he knew. He was like, I know. Like, and I'm like, okay, it's happening. I feel like it's happening where, like I said earlier, I'm not going to go down to the freshman level and they're running triple option when we're a spread power run team. Like,
Yeah.
or I go down there and they're doing, "Hey, why are you guys running this certain unbalance when we don't do it? Did you have that conversation with me?" Because I told them, I was like, "Hey, if you have some linemen and some extra guys, you want to go unbalanced here, and do this, awesome. Let's have that conversation to make sure we know. Do it." But we don't want to walk down there and you're doing something where I told him, I said, 98% of the time, I'm going to say yes. And our head coach is going to say yes. We're not going to say no, but we just want to know. So we don't walk into practice or we're watching your game on a Thursday, Saturday morning. Why are they in the wing T right now? Like, we don't have that. We don't, like, there was no conversation. Like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? And just have those conversations and make sure we're on the same page is my ultimate goal. Like, yeah, I want to score points. I want to score 30 some points a game, obviously, but it's, do all the kids know what the blocks are? Do all the kids understand it? So that way, if I do in a game grab a wide receiver and say hook block him, he's not going to say, "Well, Coach Moriarty said, peanut butter was the block." Like, then it becomes a problem.
Oh, no doubt. And again, I think it's good that you're setting that tone now, because when you have it right now, there is no miscommunication. No one can say, "Well, I thought this." It's like, nope, I said what a hook block is. This is what a hook block is. This is what the receiver needs to do. I said it day one. So either you were not listening or you don't think it's a good idea. So what is it? And again, I do think that it's good that you're doing it now. So then down the line, there is no confusion. Like, you just get it out of the way. And again, if you don't like it and you're like, "Okay, that ain't working," then you can say, "All right, I want a banana block or a peanut butter block or, Swiss cheese." I don't know. You can call it whatever you want. But I think it's good that you're doing it now just to get it all out of the way and kind of set the tone early on.
Well, because again, I keep going back full circle. I think I learned more about what not to do or the bad experiences and how to fix them. And I think that's also in coaching. You have to learn that if this is the way we've always done things, we just get through it. You're not going to last very long, or it's not going to be a good experience for the assistants. It's not a good experience for the kids. Not good for the parents, the community, because then they'll get frustrated. The AD is going to get frustrated. It's not saying you're going to run a whole new offense every year, a whole new defense every year, but you have to have a good experience because I believe as coaches, we're doing it for the kids and doing it for that, but it's also partly for us. We have to have fun. We have to love scheming. We have to love this. So I personally love it. I love coming up with terminology. I love tweaking things. I love the off season. Like, this is gonna be fun to go into the summer and the season to do these new tweaks, and the next year doing it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though being an OC, I control it and it's gonna be fun, but it's also fun for me to see what's not working. How do I fix it? And that problem solving. Even though I hated math problem solving, I love football problem solving. It's a lot easier than math or science class.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And yeah, and again, I think it's, like you talk about, you really love doing this. Like, again, and I've been around people that just go, "I'm only coaching to get that big job for the money," and whatever. And again, I'm a firm believer, like I keep saying, and I will continue to keep saying it. if you do not love this and you do not love the coach and you do not love to impact people on and off the field, then why are you doing it? You should just go get a regular 9 to 5 and do what you do. But I think it's really great that you're really passionate about this. You love it. You love impacting people, but you love solving problems that many people can't. And again, I think it's great.
Yeah, that's why I don't have any hair. That's where the hair goes. That's where the gray
Well,
hair.
shoot, I mean, mine may come soon enough. I don't know. I'm having a bad hair day. My wife told me wear a hat on this one. But I may be in your situation soon. With just with the way how everything goes. But it's all good though.
No, it's a fresh buzz. I keep it short so that way, because when it starts growing and the sun hits it just right, you see these grays popping up on the side. My beard, you see the white hairs. It's not even gray; it's like the white hairs. But I also blame it on coaching 3 sports. I'm like,
There
maybe
you
this.
go. Yeah, it may age you a little bit right there. So again, maybe
Well,
if you cut back on a sport, your gray hairs will go away.
somebody told me football causes gray hairs, basketball causes hair loss. And I'm like, what does the spring cause? And they're like, both. I said, oh, well, this is not good.
Yeah, double the fun right there. So
It's like, this is not good. But I will be proud of my hair has not receded in the past 5 years. It's just been there. So
there you go. It's a good thing right there. So you should be blessed on that part.
I'll have to ask you this because I'm having a son too. And I made a joke. I think we're put on the baby weight together.
Oh man, shoot. You are not lying about that one right there. Baby weight is right. My wife, she's like the cravings are terrible. I'm right there with it. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I ain't complaining though, but and it's crazy because with weight and all that. So our son is like 3.5 weeks ahead. So he's projected to be big. So I mean, I just keep telling my wife, hey, just keep him getting big. Hopefully he's tall. If he's tall, we're good. We're doing well. But no, all we care about is just a happy, healthy baby. 10 fingers, 10 toes, and a healthy heartbeat. But yeah, my wife, she just goes, man, like my cravings are insane. I'm like, yeah, mine too. She's like, you're not pregnant. I'm like, I know, I'm going through it with you though, so it's all good.
Yeah, because we're at the 18-week or 19-week mark.
Okay.
The boy likes to move a lot. He was doing V-ups on the last one, like his feet were up. He was doing this, and I'm like, "Oh, he's ready to go. He's an athlete. He's ready to go."
There you go.
Yeah. But it's funny because like randomly at night, hey, there's a McDonald's right down there. She goes, I want ice cream.
Oh man, that's my wife is too. Just she'll be like, Dairy Queen closes in 10 minutes, kind of like that meme from Family Guy, and I'm like, hey, I'm right there with you. We'll speed over there, but no, yeah. So I get it, but it gives me an excuse to be fat. But man, there's days I work out, I'm like, oh man, I should have never ate that last night, but I don't care because it's baby weight. It'll come off eventually. So
well, that's what I'm telling myself. She goes, give me ice cream. I go, okay, and I go to the drive-through and I'll say, can I get one? And then I go, is that it? Make it two. So because I get one. You gotta
make it a double. We'll be all
right. Last funny story. I think it was the 15-week, 14-week mark. We went to a restaurant for the first time in Yorkville. Their desserts, I call it diabetes. And this is why. They walk by, it's a cup, and it had like ice cream, chocolate cake, there's cookies in it, there's a donut, there's an ice cream cone on top, and all this stuff.
I hope my wife's not listening to this. She may want us to go all the way over there to go eat it because, man, oh my goodness.
So they walked by with it. My wife does this. She calls the waitress, like, can we get one of those to go? And I'm like, you're going to eat all that? She goes, no, you're eating half of it. And I was like, okay. So we split it. Oh, it was delicious. Then the next morning, you're like, I just ate chocolate cake, ice cream, cookies, a donut within like a 10-minute period. And I'm like, yep, I'm going to put on the weight. It's already going to happen because I should have just said no, but you can't. You're like, I have to eat it. I have to eat it.
At that point, you just don't care. You're like, I'll just take it anyway.
Well, I'm like, I coach basketball. I'll be walking around. That's okay. Like,
you're fine. You'll burn out the calories anyway.
So that's what I'm figuring out right now with this. I'm like, sorry. And then she was in New York, and she's like, Steve, you'll be really proud. And I said, for what? She goes, well, I had some wings at this place, which this place in Brooklyn has awesome wings. She goes, your son was doing like 360s in there. And I'm like, oh, so he likes wings? Perfect.
Yeah, we're
Here we
good,
go.
right? Yeah, so our little one, he is very active. You know, whenever my wife is sitting down, he'll be active and everything. So we have an active child. But I mean, again, when it comes to the eating part, like I'm right there with my wife too. So I mean, I have a little excuse right there as well. So
Oh, yeah. I told the head coach, I was like, I'll be the heaviest quarterback coach, the heaviest OC because I'm putting on this weight right now. I'm bulking in the summer. Like, this is what's
there
happening.
you go. It's bulking season. I'm going on 35 years strong of bulking season over here.
Oh, I am too. I was like, I've been practicing. I've been preparing for this pregnancy for years. I'm good to go.
No doubt, no doubt.
Well, coach, I appreciate you coming on here. It took a lot of your time, but I appreciate you.
All good. It's always a pleasure. I would love to do this again. Maybe next time. By the time we do it, we'll both have our kids here, have our boys here. I don't know. He may be right here, but no, I appreciate it. Congratulations again on the OC
Yep.
job. I know you're going to kill it. Again, always a pleasure, and we'll be in touch.